प्रणाम। धन्यवाद आपका कि आज आप हम सबके साथ बैठे हैं। So it's a big opportunity for me because I have a connection with music since my childhood. So I have some questions regarding music. If in thy permission, I can ask some questions regarding music.
Okay.
The first question I would like to ask: what is music, and how should we understand music?
Okay. So the first word is music. Okay. So what is music? What do you think? What is music?
Music is everywhere. The sound we're hearing all the time, the nature sound, the sound of rain.
Okay. So what is music? What do you think is music? What is the meaning of the word music?
Pranam Master. Music is the sound. Music is what touches us. Music is that enhances us. Music is present everywhere.
Okay, then music is everywhere, but what is music?
Pranam, we can look at music as an arrangement of sounds. It's a sequence of sounds produced from everything that is alive in this creation. We also look at music coming from the word muse, which again represents Saraswati, who is the goddess of music and knowledge. So that is how.
Alright, so first is the word music, right? So the word music means me and use. Okay. So how one can use sounds for oneself, that's music. Any sounds. It can be sound of the water falling, it can be sound of the birds, it can be sound which one is not able to hear today, and the sounds are being transmitted to beings from the sky, from celestial bodies, the sounds of the other beings. So music is how one is able to use sounds for oneself. That is why the word muse-ic is there. That's the first thing. Now the word we know it is all about matters. All matters. It could be earth, it could be water, fire, air, sky, mind, intelligence, spirit, or it can be about any matters on earth, any matters that we discuss, the subject matters that we say, right? So music is all about bringing matter to use in the right way for one's evolution, because music is the base of this creation. Music is the very fabric, the very thread of this creation, because music means we're talking about sounds. So sounds can be spoken, sounds can be produced through singing. So sounds can have words, sounds can have only the instruments. So sounds are everywhere, right? So music means bringing all matters to use. If you know how to bring all matters to use, to your use, for your evolution, for connecting yourself to the very fabric of this creation, that is music. Where all do you listen to music? That's my question.
There are many ways. The recorded music is available. So all the people are using all the Bollywood music, the Hollywood music, all are available. And the second one is the nature sound, which is present everywhere.
So now, with this we can simply say that there are two kinds of music. One is the music which is produced by the humans. Second is the music which is produced by the nature, right? So which music is pure music?
Nature's music.
Correct. So nature's music by default we know is a pure form of music. Where one can learn music more better? In the nature, from the nature, or in the studio, from the studio recording?
In nature, from nature.
Right. Now the word study also means which keeps you steady. Right. So study means it has to keep you steady. So studio was a place where actually the study was happening. The original ancient studio setup was for the studious beings to study certain things, certain matters, certain subjects. But now the studio means a closed door, dark room, compact vacuum room where there is no element of nature, where only the artificial sounds, the tones, the music, the sounds from the music instruments and sounds from all kind of beings are just recorded. So what do you think is a real studio?
Nature is a real studio.
Right. So right now we are sitting in a real studio learning the real subject matter. Right now we are sitting in the real studio studying the real subject matter, and that too which is called music. Right. Can instruments produce real sounds and real music? So instruments are producing certain sounds, we know, right? So instruments do produce certain sounds. So what does those sounds mean? Are instruments producing the sounds by itself, or are instruments being played by somebody else?
It's being
Played by somebody else, right? So if an instrument is being played by somebody else, that means the sound that the instrument is producing, that sound is a reflection of that being, right? So each human being also is one instrument. So whatever sounds are coming out of them, that reflects whose instrument are they, right? So like every instrument has certain chords, every instrument has certain sound pitches, scales, tones, expressions. Similarly, all humans also have that, and we call it vocal cords. You produce music in a certain way, you speak words in a certain way, you express yourself with certain emotions, certain feelings, some certain intonations. That is what real music actually means to produce sounds in the most natural, pure way, where they had the right intonations, right frequencies, and then those frequencies are translated through certain instruments recreated for a certain set of audience. And that was the real Gurukul system, where the sounds were taught in the right manner, how to produce sounds, at what frequency, maybe the frequency of a cuckoo, maybe at the frequency of a cow, maybe at the frequency of an elephant, right? So different sounds, different intonations, all intonations were produced by different beings, and that actually helped them attune their sound frequency to the frequency of nature, right? So their frequencies were more organic. And today, if you will see in the music world specifically, the sounds, the sounds, the words, the lyrics, the music, all are inorganic, artificial, inorganic, and all played by beings who don't follow any natural lifestyle, right? So they don't have any natural specific lifestyle, right? They don't have nature-centric lifestyle, and that is why nature also does not communicate with them. Nature has no communication with all these beings whatsoever. So the kind of lifestyles the beings have, the kind of attitude they have towards nature, same reflects in their music. If you will look at all the music produced by people, it has more frequencies of pain. For example, 440 hertz that people had been listening to in this world from like last 1 century and more. So that has attuned them to more frequency of pain. So pain appears more frequently to them, right? The emotional drainage occurs more faster to them, more frequently, right? So that's how nature speaks, nature communicates, nature tells that how right music has to be produced. So frequencies plays a very big role. So what do you think is a frequency? But what is frequency as per the music?
Scale.
Okay.
The pitch. That's
Yes.
how I.
So all human beings, they have a different pitch. Okay. Some speaks in a higher tone, some speaks in a lower tone. Even during day, everybody keeps shifting their pitches, right? So your frequency is changing, but your total frequency is based on the cumulative frequency. The sum total of your frequency is based on what you are doing frequently. Whatever you are speaking frequently, so is your frequency. Whatever you are listening frequently, so is your frequency. Whatever you are seeing frequently, so is your frequency. So if anybody is to produce any good qualitative beneficial music, so that means they have to be in nature. They have to see nature, they have to listen to nature, they have to observe nature, they have to learn more about the natural systems, they have to learn more about the nature's ecosystem. That's how they can attune themselves to better frequencies, not producing music only on the world's standard frequency. Right? So the frequency of the muggles, the frequency of the beings who had been just been in pain, had been in like emotional turmoil and all kinds of disease. So the beings in the disease, they produce music. The beings in pain, they are writing the lyrics. The beings with all kind of disease, they are singing the same lyrics. The instrumental play is by all beings in the disease and pain and having tough time in their life, and they are all on all kinds of medicines, and then they are producing music. And if you will listen to such music, what will happen to you? You can very well imagine what is being transferred into you if you listen to such music frequently. What will be your frequency then? So one can very well imagine, right? So whom we listen, that selection has to be there. One has to learn to select that music, select that being whom to listen, has to be correct and has to be learned. If you will not learn it, then how will you select it? You will listen to what is being offered, and that is what is happening today in the world. People have gadgets in their hand, they are just listening to all kinds of beings, all kind of music, all kind of instruments, all kind of reels. So the real life is completely away from them. Do you think it will lead to a good, healthy life?
No.
Will it make the life more musical or diseased?
Disease.
Right. So what do you call that in normal musical language? If somebody is having a disease lifestyle or disordered lifestyle, what do you call that in music if somebody is not in the right pitch?
Not harmonious.
Besur. So you call it besur. Besur means the person is not in the right musical sense. That means every organ inside us is like the musical piece. It is like a musical instrument. Each organ inside us is a musical instrument, right? So each musical instrument has to produce the right music. That's what you call harmony. Harmony produces right kind of hormones, and that makes your life harmonious.
धन्यवाद आपका मास्टर। आपको एक प्रश्न है, जब से मैं आपके सानिध्य में आई हूँ, आपकी कृपा से मुझे म्यूज़िक के बारे में और ज्ञान मिलते जा रहा है। लेकिन ये आश्चर्य की बात है कि मैं बचपन से म्यूज़िक से जुड़ी हूँ। मेरे पूरी फैमिली म्यूज़िक से जुड़ा है और मैंने बहुत सारे कोर्सेस मास्टर्स किया है, लेकिन मैंने बहुत बड़े बड़े गुरु के पास मैंने सीखा है, लेकिन किसी ने भी ये बात नहीं, जो भी मैंने अब से सुन रही हूँ, जो भी आप बोल रहे हैं, किसी ने भी ऐसी बातें नहीं की। और मोस्टली उनमें से 90% ही डिजीज है।
The funny thing in this world is people have qualification criteria for a job, but people have no qualification criteria of listening to the beings. They don't have any qualification criteria whom to listen, whom to see, whom to read, whom to be with, right? People make a choice between two tomatoes, but they don't make a choice between two musical pieces, right? So people don't have that kind of a sense where they can actually make a discernment whether this being is worthy of listening or not, right? So there are parameters which one has to learn properly. One has to have clear discernment whom to listen, whom not to listen, because sounds affect you directly. Even we have discussed even earlier that earthly things creates its effects in days, like food creates its effect in days, water creates its impact in hours, but sounds create its effect immediately. Whatever you listen, it has immediate impact. That's why you will see how the things have gone like completely reverse in the world. People have started calling pain and crying and weeping and all kind of like lower emotions as bhakti. Why? But because the music that they're listening to, that music is triggering an emotion inside which is very lowly. So that music is making them cry. That music is making them to feel pain. But now they relate that pain to longing. Now they relate that pain to bhakti. Now they relate that pain to their own inner devotion or all kind of things. But not knowing, not sensing that it is the sound and the frequency which are playing with them. It is the impact of the sound that they have eaten all these years. Right. So when these beings, you will see so many music teachers specifically, they will have like all kind of problems.
Yes.
They'll have heart problems because heart is a pure beat instrument. Right. The heart inside us is a pure beat instrument. So that beat instrument works exactly in connection with nature. Okay. Heart creates a beat 72 BPM. Right. Heart is beating at 72 BPM. If you double it, that becomes by default 144. Okay. So 144, we know it's a frequency which relates to third eye. Right. But people listen to 440. Only 440. Or maybe nowadays 444. So people should figure it out for themselves that why the A scale is given as 440. Why? They should know it. When teachers don't know it, then who else will teach? If teachers themselves will not figure out that why that specific frequency is standardized in the whole world, and who is standardizing it for them, then how would you change it? Then who else will figure it out for us? Right? So the teachers don't know about it. The musical beings, they don't know about anything about music. The most beautiful thing about music is you can connect with nature, you can connect with elements, you can figure your way out, which is called liberation. And that is only possible with sounds and music. By speaking certain words, certain sounds, you can pave your way out. It's that simple a thing. But all these years, if you will see, there had been like thousands of people who had been promoting all the music of the Mughals, the Mughal style music, Mughal style presentation of music, Mughal style singing, which is non-Shastriya and they call it Shastriya. Right. So all Shastriya music is called Shastriya music. And then at the same time, none has been able to specifically describe the word music. None. Not even one definition of music. What happens when you listen to some good music? What happens?
It's soothing. It's nice. It's pleasing. Good music gives a very relaxed state.
Right. But people think music should end at crying. That's what they have promoted in the world. That's what they have taught the whole world. Because who are the teachers today? Who are the influencers? It's the Bollywood, Hollywood industry. It is the music industry. So everything is industrialized. So when everything is industrialized, that means everything is on sale. So when people have their art on sale, that means their heart is on sale. Right? So that means they have sold their heart. When they have sold their heart, do you think they can produce the right music?
No, not at all.
So that's the difference between learning the real art for one's evolution. What is the fun of that art when the art itself is not helping them out? People know music heals, but here music is creating disease. People know music can elevate one's mental state. Here music is making them unstable, cry, feel low, and sing all kinds of words of pain, dard, dukh, cry rivers.
Either cry or excited.
Yes, and then all kind of music which is total madness, the music of madness. Okay, that is why the word mad and mad is same. Okay, the word mad and mad is exactly same. M-A-D, mad and mad, and their music keeps them in that whole mental play. It doesn't allow them to come out of their mental ramblings. Nothing converts into action ever. So that's about music. Music is a field where one can change everything for oneself. Music is just like connecting to the core fabric of this creation, right? But for that, one has to observe nature, one has to know nature, one has to be in nature, one has to listen to nature. All kind of basic sounds. Nature will give you one sense, then nature will give you more bigger sense. You reach to a certain level, nature will give you more bigger sense to listen to more better music, right? So that is about music.
धन्यवाद।